Okay, hello everyone. This is Sharita, and this is my YouTube channel and podcast, Magic Mind Medium. And so today is Tuesday, and on Tuesdays I do the zodiac reading. So we're going to proceed with the zodiac reading for the air sign. For the air sign. So I do apologize. I got a new setup and coming to where you will be able to view me um, with the cards. Alrighty. All right. So I would like to start off by saying that this YouTube channel and podcast is for entertainment, information, sometimes educational purposes. All righty. So I am going to do something differently that I had been with my zodiac readings. I am going to do a 10 card Celtic Cross with the Cosmic Insight. And then I'm gonna use a total of about one, including these, one, two, three, four, about 5 decks for the tarot reading for today. So what are the air signs? Well, we're gonna go over that now. The air signs comprise of the Gemini. I just so happen to be a Gemini. So let's represent the Geminis. All right, Gemini. What is the significance of the Gemini? All right, so they are the twins, May 21st to June 21st. Is the first of the air sign. The second air sign is the Libra, which represent balance. Over the 23rd. Now it depends on what website you are on because I've been on websites where October the 23rd was a part of the Scorpion or Scorpio sign. So I guess it just depends on, what website you're on. And then the next is the Aquarius, the water bearer. They're born between January the 20th and February the 18th. Alrighty. Okay. So let's go ahead and I'm going to do a quick shuffle of the cards. Alrighty. Let's spread the cards out and we're going to pull out 10 cards. All right. Well, actually, I think what I'm going to do, because there's not that many of these, I'm going to pull out 6 and then 4 additional with my Urban Tarot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That's how I'm going to do that. These cards, it's not that many of the Cosmic Insight cards. All right, so I'll do 6 of these, and then we're going to proceed with 4 with the Urban Tarot. Alrighty. All right, so that's 1, 2. Let's get 2 more cards. All right, one more. All right. Okay, dokie. So let's proceed with Land of the Cards. All right, before I proceed, let me start with my prayer. All righty. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All righty. And then I have the 4 additional cards here. All right. So for those who are out there, it may resonate with you, it may not resonate with you in regards to the reading, but I'm going to say narcissistic. For some of you out there, there is coming across that there's a little bit of narcissism, and this may not resonate with all of the air signs. I'm speaking to Geminis, Libras, and Aquarius. Well, of course, I'm going to represent the Gemini because I am a Gemini. So, which is a representation of the twins. So it may not necessarily be that you yourself are narcissistic. It could be your better half that's narcissistic. For some of you out there, there seems to be a little bit of self-centeredness or selfishness, if that makes sense to anybody. In regards to whatever is going on in your life right now. So it's nothing wrong with being having self-love and love of oneself and things of that nature. But when it gets to be when conceit comes into the midst and you begin to lose sight of what's really relevant and what's important, we all can get beside ourselves. I mentioned this on yesterday when I did my reading on TD Jakes, and I don't like to throw around names and things like that unless it's something urgent, right? We all can get beside ourselves and have to be reminded, right? What is really important versus not, particularly when we have been refrained from certain things in life, right? We feel. Okay, this is what crosses over. So I have manifest. Tell the universe exactly what you want. Yeah. So I think this is the obstacle or barrier. Oftentimes, when people take on these superficial, grandiose idolations, I feel it's because of not being where they want in life, to where they would do it in such a way that is not really healthy. Like if you're sacrificing others at your own expense, that's not good. All right. And the universe will remind you of that. Above the situation, I have distance. So for some of you out there, you may want to give some space right now when that energy comes around. A narcissistic individual sometimes needs to fall down in order to face the music, right? In order to face the music. So you may want to give them their space so they can reconvene because we all can get beside ourselves. This is the reason I have love spell. Love spell. You have been witched. For some of you, it appears as though you have been placed under a love spell. You have been bewitched. And I think the love spell comes from yourself, right? Needing to feel fulfilled, egotistical is what I'm getting. We all will be egotistical at one point in time in our life or others. So I have intuition. Some of you are very intuitive. Me being a Gemini, I'm very intuitive about some things. So this is your intuition being home. But ultimately, for many of you out there, I do feel as though there is commitment to the relationship. Sometimes people just, get beside themselves. But ultimately, for many of you who are in relationships, I don't think it's going to be anything that will break up the relationship. Okay. I have a star card. So again, when I get stars in relation to what something being exposed or put in the spotlight or what have you. So this is just something that needed to be presented for some of you out there in regards to the energy that you may be picking up or um, you may be sensing um, or what have you. So I have strife. I think a lot of it is internal, is what it lets me know based on the cards. Some of you are battling some issues in regards to, I feel, with how you feel, your feelings is what it lets me know is internal. Get the lover's card here. Right. So I think it does have some influences over your relationships for many of you out here, or the ability to stay in a relationship, or the ability to get in a relationship is what it lets me know. I get the chariot card here as well. Um, so basically, the chariot card is a representation of action and change or journey. Yes. Right. I think what is going on, being a Gemini, Geminis typically tends to get bored. So it may resonate with one or both of you that's in the Gemini family. You're probably looking for change at this time, as many of us will. Perhaps changing lovers for some of you out here as well. Don't don't let the enemy pull you away from uh, a lifelong commitment. So you need to stay focused. That's the main thing, because it's easy to stray away from your blessings, right? All right. The next card, I'm going to pull out a couple of these cards here. I really like these cards. I forgot what they're called, but let's get a couple of these cards. I say about four. All right, again, this podcast and YouTube channel is for entertainment purposes. So if you're wanting to book a reading, you can go on Calendly.com/Magic Mind Mediums. I have 30-minute slots on there for a reading. All right. Okay, so let's proceed. Let's proceed. So we have the first card I have is this one. If you're able to view. All right, so it mentions the moon. Intuition, yes. So again, your intuition, I think some things are going to be revealed to you in terms of your intuition, in terms of um, your spiritual enlightenment and awakefulness about some things that you may not have fathomed. The next card I get is the Two of Swords. It means choices. Yes. Oftentimes, when we are on our A game, we will be played with opportunistic energy and choices. Um, don't fall for everything that comes your way. It says time to compromise or make a decision. I'm going to say that the indecisiveness, that is the energy of a Gemini, right? You may be played with people who may be indecisive, or you yourself may be indecisive. So stay firm to commitment, because I think the ultimate thing is the commitment in your life is what I feel. I have the High Priestess card turned into reverse mystery. Mystery. Yes, I think this is something that you may already know as a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius as well. We all will be played with these energies of the Gemini. And as I mentioned, the Gemini are born between, I want to say it said May 21st to, let me actually go on another website. I need to probably Google, because this is actually on Britannica Zodiac Sunrise. I think I need to Google and bookmark another page. regarding the zodiac signs. Because this one that I have bookmarked here is Britannica. It's not really I think I'll go with this one. All right, so I am going to, this one is bookmarked as well. All right, I'm going to unbookmark this one because I don't think it's actually accurate. And then we're going to bookmark this one, zodiacsign.com. All right, let's put this where I can get to it readily. Okay, so let's go back. All right, so this one here mentions Gemini is May 21st through June the 20th, and I am on zodiacsign.com. The Libra is September the 23rd through October the 22nd. Now for the Aquarius, they are born between January the 20th through February the 18th. So let's get the significance of the air sign. With other people, they are thinkers, friendly, intellectual, communicative, and analytical. They love philosophical discussions, social gatherings, and good looks. They enjoy giving advice, but they can also be very superficial. So it mentions about the Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Well, as we would know, um, getting into the Gemini, I know as a Gemini, some of the traits I have read were they're two-faced and things like that. I think a lot of the energy is by way of indecisiveness, if that makes sense. We will all be indecisive about one thing or the next. So I think to be a Gemini, you are more susceptible to that energy, if that makes sense to anybody. So my guide here mentions that the significance of the Gemini is that they're energetic, playful, wise, restless, two-faced, judgmental, rules the third house of communication, and I will incorporate the houses into this reading as well. It mentions that the Libra is charming, fair, sincere, restless, objective, and decisive. Rules the seventh house of partnership. Now, this here mentions that the Libra are indecisive. Aquarius, according to my God, the significance of the Aquarius is that they're sociable, inventive, intelligent, eccentric, flighty, detached, rules the 11th house of friends. So, the next card I get here is the King of Swords, which has discernment. So I honestly feel as though you, as a air sign, you do have discernment, but you will have energy that will make you second guess that discernment, if that makes sense to you. So oftentimes, when we have a gift, we will have that energy that would gravitate to us to make us second guess ourselves as to what is real versus what is not. That's what I feel. All right. All right. So I will proceed with the houses before the closing of this reading, but we're going to get a little bit more into the reading of the cards. All righty. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to do something a little different. I am going to divide these cards here that has different signs on them. I'm going to divide them up, and that way, when I do my reading, it'll be focused on who it's for. So I think I'll do that now. If I hadn't thought about that, I would have done that off camera, right? So say, for instance, these cards are divided by earth, air, water, and fire sign. So that way I would know how to give out the signs. This shouldn't take too long to go ahead and get done. All right. So we want to give accurate readings on here. And I will be incorporating the pendulum board. I have not forgot about adding the pendulum board to my readings. So, because I want to get more acclimated with doing the pendulum board. So I think that is very important. Alrighty. Again, this podcast and YouTube channel is for entertainment, informational, and sometimes educational purposes. So we're going to go ahead and get these cards laid out so we can proceed with the remainder of the reading. We're going to do the pendulum board as well. So again, if you're wanting a reading, you can book on Calendly.com/Magic Mind Medium. So coming up for this weekend on Sunday, when I do my spiritual subject, I will be speaking about spiritual apathy, unless otherwise. But that is what the spiritual subject is going to be this coming Sunday. So while I've continued to spread these cards, I want to state that my weekly schedule comprises on Sundays, I do the spiritual subject that is on Sundays. On Mondays, I do the 10 card Celtic Cross, which I did on yesterday. On Tuesday, which is today, I do the astrological elemental zodiac readings. That will be on Tuesday. Wednesdays, I do the ancestral past life readings. On Thursdays, I do the illumination and revelation, light and dark readings. On Fridays, I do the love readings. That is on Fridays. And on Saturdays, I do the chakra or chakra energy cleansing readings. All righty, so we have all of these and I'm going to try to keep these isolated. So when I do my readings, they would be focused on the cards. That may not necessarily be, how it's supposed to be, but that's how I'm going to do it. Okay, so again, for many of you, discernment, I think with that indecisiveness that may come for those of you out there that's an air sign, that indecisiveness is by way of your discernment. I do feel as though you have discernment because we have the intuition card that shows up twice. So oftentimes you may get distracted. You may get distracted by love spells of lovers for some of you out there, by way of a love spell or being bewitched by those that you have a love interest in, right? And sometimes it can cloud your commitment, if that makes sense to anybody. All right, so we're going to go ahead. We're going to pull out, just going to pull out two of these cards. So this is specifically for the air signs, right? Specifically for the air signs. And I think I would make these a part of the zodiac. My zodiac readings. All right, give me two cards, two cards. Give me two cards. All right, two cards, two cards. All righty. All right, so I'm going to say for some of you, you may be very intellectual, as we read earlier. And what does that mean? I think that for many of you out there who are a air sign, um, I think there's a disconnect in belief. Like you're not somebody, you may view life as though it could be a joke, or you're very analytical, as I read in the signs earlier. You're intellectual. That means you're not so quick to believe everything that presents to you. You may feel as though um, you have this disconnect, I feel, with the divine or God. Some of you is coming across could be atheist or agnostic. But I get the magician card in the reverse, and it mentions manipulation, insecure, poor planning, untrapped talents, lack of confidence, and narcissism. So some of you may take on some of this energy at certain times of the year. As I mentioned, this is the witching season. So um, be on the lookout for picking up negative energy, right? Picking up negative energy. I think that's a part of your intuition to make things apparent to you. As a Gemini, you're able to see things two-sided. That's the thing about being, some people may refer to you as being inconsistent or can't be trusted. But that's the thing about being a Gemini. Your brain works in duos, so you're able to see the reality and the real. You are able to see what this life is in a facet of the life, if that makes sense. The parallels is what I'm getting at. So your mind works differently. Get the Five of Swords for the air signs. So it goes on to mention, for some of you, there may be some conflict, upheaval, lost disagreements, competition, defeat, winning at all costs, sneakiness, bullying, stealth, abusive relationships. So you have to be very careful when you start to get confused. You're easy to be dissuaded for some of you. And you got to begin to realize that life does work in patterns and cycles, and you're no different than anybody else. You could be pulled away as well, even being an intellectual, if that makes sense to anybody. All right, we're going to go ahead. I'm going to pull out my Mrs. Cleo's cards. A couple of cards. All righty. All right, so I get Nine of Swords in the reverse. The Nine of Swords mentions nightmares, anxiety, grief, and depression. Yeah, for some of you, you may be able to pick up on this type of energy. As I mentioned, this is the witching season. So um, that's what that boredom creeps in. When you begin to get bored or you begin to get stumped in your potential, I think it may present itself in depression and grief and things of that nature. So you will want to take up a course, get into balancing your chakras. I'm going to say, I want to say during these times, it will be conducive for you to get your crown as well as your third eye chakra balanced. Because when you start picking up this energy, you need to be able to rule out, is this coming from me, or am I picking up on what is to come? Because I do have intuition, and sometimes it's easy to get meshed in someone else's identity or mess, if that makes sense to anybody. So the Nine of Swords, we just mentioned that the Eight of Coins, which is the Eight of Pentacles, mastering your craft, enjoying your employment. Yes. So take up some courses to get you, some, whether it's self-development courses or, whatever your spiritual duty or spirit-related job field is, take up some refresher courses is what I feel Source is wanting you to do. All right. So let's go into the pendulum board. What do we want to know in regards to this energy that I'm picking up? Or some of you are picking up going into 2025. Well, let's tackle commitment issues. So, are the commitment issues in regards to relationships for the air signs? Is this commitment issue in regards to relationships for some of you? Right. So for some of you, it's looking like it's going in a yes. For some of you, this commitment issue is in regards to relationships. So you need to be focused on building relationships at this time, because I do feel as though what you're picking up during the witching season can be affecting your relationships, if that makes sense to anybody. So we're going to also tackle some of this energy in regards to career. How would career be? Are for the air signs out there coming in 2025? For 2025, should you be looking for new employment or adding more employment for 2025? Okay, no. I think you need to be doing some self improvement development, is what I feel. Building of the spirit. Again, get into chakra energy cleansing for the mind, as well as your intuition, your crown, as well as your third eye chakra. Because when you start having a lot of this negative energy gravitate to you, you want to be able to rule out, is this me or is this someone else? All righty. So when can we anticipate the removal of this energy? Let's hold the pendulum. When can we anticipate the movement of this energy? Okay, so it floats back and forth between March and September. So between those 2 months, for the air signs, I'm going to say that you very well need to stay focused. And because I said between March and September, for those who are born between those months, you may be taking on some of this indecisive energy as well. So you want to stay focused, right? Do things to building of the spirit and things of that nature, right? I think the zodiac signs is energy spaces within the world that you may be susceptible to, if that makes sense to anybody. And you have to be very, very, very focused. All right, so let's get to the houses. Let's get to the houses. We're going to begin with the Gemini. Let's get to the houses. All right. So again, the Gemini rules the third house of communication. Well, for those who may be listening in or will be tuning in, I just did so it mentions the mind and thinking, communication, siblings, social activity, interests, neighbors, early education. That's what it has here. That's just a brief highlights. We're going to go to more in-depth information. So houses 1 through 6 are personal houses. 7 through 12 is interpersonal houses. So the third house rules all forms of communication, such as talking, thinking, gadgets, and mobile devices. The third house also covers siblings, neighbors, local neighborhoods, local travel, libraries, schools, teachers, and community affairs. So for some of you, don't be so surprised if you begin to tap into the ability or the sensibility of your siblings, certain neighborhoods, local travel, libraries, schools, teachers, and community affairs, because this is where you are ruling. Your energy rules, and you're able to pick up on that spiritual enlightenment would just jump to conclusions, right? All right, so the Libra rules the seventh house of partnership. So let's go down to the seventh house, which has a lot to do with interpersonal relationships. Of the air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, you all have that capability, right? All right, and then the next is the Aquarius, which rules the 11th house of friends. According to here, your lucky numbers are 4, 6, 13, 15, and 24. So the strengths of the Libra under personality traits is that you're cooperative, diplomatic, gracious, fair-minded, and social. The weaknesses is that you are indecisive, avoids confrontations, we carry a grudge, self-pity. Your lights are harmony, gentleness, sharing with others, the outdoors. Your dislikes are violence, injustice, loud mouths, and conformity. So it mentions that you have a partnership. You rule the house of partnership, is what it mentions here. Now, I'm not going to go into all of the details in regards to the zodiac, but let's pull up some information regarding the Aquarius, and then we will end with the Gemini. So again, the Gemini, according to here, the Aquarius rules the 11th house of friends. The element is air. The color is light blue or silver. The quality is fixed. Their date is Saturday. The ruler is Uranus and Saturn. The greatest compatibility is with Leo and Sagittarius. Your lucky numbers are 4, 7, 11, 22, and 29. The personality traits mention strength, which is progressive, original, independent, humanitarian. The weaknesses, they runs from emotional expression, temperamental, uncompromising, aloof. The Aquarius likes is their fun with friends, risky business, fighting for causes, intellectual conversations. Aquarius dislikes limitations, broken promises, being lonely, dull, or boring situations. So some of you get bored easily, according to this here. And we're going to end with the Gemini. All right, so the element of the Gemini is air. Your color is light green and yellow. Your quality is mutable. Your date is Wednesday. Ruler Mercury. It's the ruler of this sign according to this here. The greatest compatibility is to Sagittarius and Aquarius. The lucky numbers are 5, 7, 14, and 23. So the personality traits mentions your strengths are that you're gentle, affectionate. This is for some of you out there. Curious, adaptable, ability to learn quickly and exchange ideas. Your weaknesses is that you're nervous, inconsistent, and indecisive. So again, this indecisiveness, I do believe, comes by way of the twins, because the twins is a representation of the Gemini, and that's because you're able to see parallels and duality. Gemini likes music, books, magazines, chats with nearly anyone, short trips around the town. Gemini dislikes being alone, being confined, repetition, and routine. So, one thing I will say is a lot of this does correlate to me, but some of it does not. So, you know, and just in me getting into astrology, you could be ruled by other energy as well, other signs as well. So that's why we have the grouping of the signs, air signs. All right, so that is your zodiac reading for this week. If you're wanting to book a reading, go on Cannaly.com/magic mind medium. So basically, you just go in there and book a reading. I'm only available Monday through Friday for 2 sessions on there, and half the day up until about 8 o'clock on Saturdays and Sundays. All right. All right. So that is your reading for this week, and tomorrow I will proceed with the ancestral past life oracle readings. Until then, have a safe and wonderful day.